Hello there, Michael here, just outside the T-Mobile Arena. I've been here about 3 or 4 days now, arrived Wednesday, just to give you a general review of what's happening, what has happened over the last 3 or 4 days. So Wednesday we had the open workouts, apologise, on Wednesday. Thursday was the press conference. On Friday it was the early weigh-ins and the ceremonial weigh-ins, which will happen at the T-Mobile Arena, and tonight is the main event itself, the main fight. Just to give you an update on what's happened on Wednesday. I came over, so I kind of knew everything was quite close together, but I'm here about 3 or 4 days now. Didn't realise everything was so close together. Well, I probably did realise. So what we have here is I'm actually staying in this hotel here, which is the NGM Park. Yeah, it's quite a nice hotel. That used to be called the Monte Carlo. Over here, let me try and get my bearings right. Behind those trees, you can kind of see right beside the hotel is the Park Theatre. So two things that happened there was the open workouts were held there, and also the press conference was also held there. So right beside it, you don't even have to leave the hotel to get to that. Another thing that happened yesterday morning, it was a bit hush-hush by the UFC of what's happening, but where I'm actually staying, which is the MGM Park, they had the early weigh-in. So there's it's the MGM Park conference hall. So that was where the early weigh-ins. I just originally went down to have a look, see what it all looked like, and it was open to the public, but obviously they didn't spread that news out, so there wasn't many people at it, and it was probably a good thing, because obviously this is probably the most serious part of the week is those weigh-ins. So yesterday then we had the ceremonial weigh-in. So right behind me we had that in the T-Mobile Arena. That was absolutely amazing, because we always say, are the Irish going to travel? And they didn't, their droves. So I reckon about maybe 4,000 to 5,000 Irish were in that arena yesterday. Also you had the local people that are following Conor, so I'd say the crowd percentage wise was about 95% Conor, so that was very impressive. Just give you an update on where we are today. Obviously the main focus now is getting that the main event. You know, the athletes always have two types of fights happening. One is making weight, and the other one is the fight itself. So at the moment it's around about 9:15. You can see that UFC, they put on a little bit of an event here. So they have the 50 is obviously this year's 25-year anniversary of the UFC. There's a bit of a meet and greet section here, as you can see. Justin Gaethje and Michael Johnson, they've got other ones. So that one is Toyo Tires, Metro PCS, the Air Force. There's some sort of a stage here, not really sure what's happening there. You got the UFC sign over here, got the UFC store as well, so everything's really set up for the day. There's a fan experience that's going to be happening between about 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Doors open at the event around about 3 or 4 o'clock. Main card probably starts around about 8 o'clock, but before that they have other events. Obviously they've got the prelims and pre-fight pass, and also they've got the kind of undercard as well. So there's plenty to be getting on. I think the main event itself will be around about 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock local time here. So obviously that's going to be about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock local time in the UK. So it's very, very late UK time, or if you want it, very, very early in the morning. This stadium here was built about 3 or 4, maybe about 2 years ago. The first UFC event that was held here was UFC 200. Conor and Nate fought in 202. As you can see, where I'm staying at the MGM Park, the Park Theatre and the T-Mobile Arena, they're quite close to each other. So it's quite good and fortunate that I didn't have to travel far to get everywhere. You can probably see what else is in the area. The New York there behind me. So obviously you can see the roller coaster. We're kind of a little bit off the strip, but you can get a good idea where we are. Also behind me, that little kind of tree area over there, that's kind of like the park garden, something that they built over time. Also there is like other sponsors as well, Modella beer, so that's another thing that's happening there. I think obviously the main thing, obviously other sponsors, is that Conor would have his sponsor here as well for the main event. Obviously his Hopper 12 whiskey is going to be on the canvas, so very interesting with that one. I just go over here a little bit. You could actually, it's probably 20,000 seat stadium. Yesterday's weigh-in itself was absolutely amazing. It was like an event in itself. You can see the UFC sign there, they always put that out. Obviously the meet and greet section over here. The Shiba Plaza, the car park, but they have a stage in front of it. Not exactly what's happening over there. Modella UFC beer, as you can see. Very quiet here at the moment. Obviously it is 9:15, so obviously nothing's really happening over the next 2 or 3 hours. I think one of the key things is that what's been happening over once I am here is that Conor obviously has been trying to get into Khabib's head throughout this time. I don't know if it's worked or not worked. We only really know that till the fight's over, you know, because I think kind of a similar status with Jose Aldo. Obviously, there was more interaction with Jose Aldo that had the world tour. Did he get into the head or not? And that is one of the, you know, questions. And obviously, because of what happened at UFC 94, obviously then everyone's said, "Oh yeah, he got him into his head." The fight was won before the fight ever happened. So we won't know till you know, later on tonight and after the fight. Did that tactics works? But obviously McGregor is trying to do everything he can to you know, to get into his opponent's head, and like he always is. So I'll just give you probably another update later on, and that's it in a nutshell. And no more. So what I'll do is I'll probably do another video later on when it gets a little bit busier here. Obviously I'm going to go back in the MGM Park, might have another look around and probably do a bit of, you know, see the casino itself and things like that. So that's me out. Okay, thank you very much. See ya, bye.